Brought to you by Sip for Your Cause.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Nonprofits. I'm Nash Alexander III, your host, and today we're here with a very exciting guest. We're so excited to have MaryMargaret O'Neill here with us, and we will be learning a lot about her organization. But we would like to remind you that Let's Talk Nonprofits is designed to bring out the best practices that help organizations increase their awareness, their sustainability, their funding, and ultimately their impact. So we ask you to please join us today and look at our other shows. You can find us on our YouTube channel, where we ask that you subscribe at www.youtube.com/BizLinksTV, and we're also found on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. And so we also will share with you Mary Margaret's organization's contact information and website, and encourage you to go and visit that organization, find out the great things that they're doing, not just here in Georgia and in the United States, but around the world. So to Mary Margaret, we welcome you to Let's Talk Nonprofits.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Exactly. Well, I tell you, we met just last December, just before Christmas, and at an event, and I was just again amazed that a young person again has a level of sensitivity to the needs of the world. So I appreciate you and your dad for being there and being able to share with us. Kids are heroes. Also, I want to say kids. I always want to say kids are heroes also, but kids are heroes.
Yeah, they are.
All right. So before you go into talking about all the great things you're doing with your organization and your team, we want to just know about MaryMargaret O'Neill. We always want our audience to realize that the people who are here doing great things, that they are just people. There's nothing extraordinary or special about them except their commitment to see a cause through. So would you just share with the audience who MaryMargaret is?
Oh, okay. Well, I am 16 years old. I turned 16 a couple months ago.
All right.
I'm a junior in high school. I go to Creekview High School.
Okay.
And a lot of my friends live in Maryland, so I spend a lot of time FaceTiming them and talking to them and trying to go back to Maryland for just a couple of days and visit. I like spending time with my family and going to movies and going shopping.
You're leaving out one very important thing: a great animal lover.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm very passionate for animals. I have a guinea pig. I just got one about like 2 months ago, actually.
Good.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, we always like to share with you, whether they're adults or whether they're teenagers or even younger than that, that the people who are guests on the show and you hear about these great things, that they are truly just human beings who are ordinarily gifted with a passion for significant change or cause. So we would like to begin talking about kids are heroes. Start there and just tell us, first of all, what does that mean, kids are heroes? What is that about?
Okay, well, Kids Are Heroes is an organization that I started when I was 9 years old. It's a website that gets kids involved in their communities to help people, animals, and the environment. So what we do is we feature kids from all over the world who are doing amazing things, and then these other kids come and look at the website and they get inspired to do their own thing, and they can go out and find their own passion, and they make their own project to help people, animals, and the environment.
Yeah.
So that's what Kids Are Heroes does.
I would encourage you to go to www.kidsareheroes.org and take a look. I mean, it is amazing what they have done and how they've amassed and brought these people around the world to be involved and be inspired and share what they're doing. So again, let me on the top end just say congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm really impressed and proud of the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And it puts a cherry on top, the fact that you're a young person, So again, your whole point is to develop this network via your website to allow children to engage and to see the work that's being done.
Exactly.
And to be inspired.
Yeah, we're encouraging kids to get out and make their own difference.
And what brought you to this?
Well, when I was 9 years old, I was in my science class and I learned about endangered animals, and I had no idea that there were so many of them. And so I've always been passionate about animals. I went to my dad and I told him I want to build a website to help animals, and he said I want to help people and the environment too. So that's how the whole organization came together.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very important. One of the other best practices that I would like to encourage you is she just shared one with you. Actually shared at least two, but the other she just mentioned right here is that she had an idea but she went to an adult to share and give perspective. So young people who might be viewing this, we encourage you with your ideas, go to an adult, have them listen, and they might give you some expansion. So that sounds like what took place
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah, and I'm going to share some things, and I hope this isn't a curveball, and I'm sure it won't be.
No.
But I also know that you've been featured on some very national profiles. Some,
Oh, yeah.
So just a little bit, just mention it. But I want people to understand that your organization is has really caught the attention of national
Yeah.
leaders.
Well, I've got to I've spoken in front of 500 people at the Richmond, sorry, I can't think of the name of it. But I was in front of Richard Branson, was one of the
Yes.
people of the event, and we got
Yes.
to meet him. And I was also on the Ricky Lake show in 2011 for an interview that was showed nationally. And we've gotten awards from Mashable. We've gotten multiple awards. I've been named a global teen leader by 3.Dash of 2014.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things. I don't know. I feel.
And and again, I know some people, or you might even feel bashful about sharing that, but I want them to understand that there are good things that come about when you do good things, and not just in local communities, but she's expanded this with their leadership team, and they have really impacted the world globally. And so I just wanted to be able to share that with them, and I thank you for being willing to share that. So let me ask you this. So you got started with the idea of for animals, a cause with animals, but then Dad encouraged you to expand it. Now, since that time, what are some of the accomplishments that have come about?
Well, I've done my own projects of my own since I've stayed on animals, except first thing I did was I gave up my birthday presents. So instead of collecting birthday presents, I just collected donations for the World Wildlife Fund.
Okay, yeah.
So I donated money for that. I've collected pajamas, and I have a pajama party I think one year, and I just collected pajamas and I gave them to a local orphanage downtown where I used to live.
Yeah.
I've done my Music for Life, where I raise money to donate 350 MP3 players to kids in the hospital, since I was in the hospital when I was 6.
Yeah.
I did my Black to Blue project with a couple of my friends. We raised money for the Gulf of Mexico oil spill, since I really wanted to help that. And just a couple tiny other things.
Yeah, just a couple. Just a couple. And again, her modesty comes through. I would tell you that she and her organization really have done some very impactful things. And we again encourage you to reach out to them, get in contact with MaryMargaret and her team, learn more about what they're doing, get involved, and we'll tell you how you can do that. So let me ask you this. Kids are Heroes Day. Share with us, what is that about?
Oh, okay. So Kids Are Heroes Day is a day where we invite all of the heroes from our website to come out and share what they do to change the world. So we literally send out an email to all of our heroes, and they, RSVP saying, oh yeah, we'll be there.
Okay.
And it's been hosted since 2009, I believe, since at our local Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick, Maryland.
Yeah.
And the first event was like 15 kids, and last year it was like a lot more. It was like 20, 30, about
Yes,
and
yes.
we have a lot of kids from all over the country, from all over the world and the country that come.
Yeah.
And I get to make a lot of friends too that way, because I'm surrounded by all these kids who are doing the same thing as I'm doing. They have the same passion, they have the same ideas, and they all want to change somebody's life or something. And so that's the day where we all get to be ourselves and talk about our organizations and inspire other kids.
Let me ask you, is there an age range, or do you cut people off, say, oh, you're too old to participate?
We cut people off around 18, because that's when
Okay.
you're considered an adult.
Okay.
And there's really, the youngest we have is like 5.
Yes.
So there's really other than 18, that's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Well, guys, listen, if you're breathing and you're up to 18 years old, check out Kids Are Heroes and figure out and determine how you can get involved, and how what you're doing to make a difference in your part of the world can contribute to the overall growth of this movement that Kids Are Heroes. I want to ask you also that when you're doing this, because what you're doing, and for you, I assume it's probably just what you do. But really what you're doing is significant. There are a lot of people who become adults and never impact the world. I mean, literally, in a significant way.
Yeah.
But you've done so since the age of 9. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Well, when I hear stories about other kids that are doing, making their own projects and going worldwide and all these amazing things, really touches my heart, because I know that there's other kids who want to actually make a difference instead of just playing video games or watching TV all day. They actually want to do something to change the world. And I've heard stories personally from kids going on our website and saying what MaryMargaret and all the other heroes do really inspired me to make my own project. And that's really heartwarming, too, to know that I'm inspiring and all these other heroes are inspiring all these kids from all over the world to make their own difference. And a small difference goes a long way.
Yeah.
So it's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
So.
And that's, as I did the research and learned more about Kids Are Heroes and learned more about MaryMargaret, there are kids who are digging wells in countries and, just a host of things, whether it's a major thing like that or even a very small act of making a difference in their communities. When you say that that influence is like a domino effect, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So again, I know I've already said, I appreciate you and I thank you for your contribution, because you're really making a significant difference. I'm sure you recognize that. Before we go to commercial break, I do want to ask you, what is your favorite part about Kids Are Heroes?
Well, for me, it's definitely the Kids Are Heroes Days events. That's a day where I get to see all my friends who I've made since the beginning that come, because they're from all over the country. There's been some regular kids that come, and then there's a reception afterwards. And last year we had a photo booth, and there was a pool, and there was food, and the families came, and that's where we just get to be our teenagers and our kids, and to be ourselves and actually connect. And it stinks at the end of the night when you're all like, okay, we all have to go to bed, but I don't want to leave. And I remember one year these kids were like, okay, I'll meet you in the lobby in like 10 minutes because I know this event ends in like 5 minutes, so I'll see you there.
Right.
So yeah, that's a really cool event, and that's my favorite part about Kids Are Heroes, is meeting all these kids and getting to talk to them in person.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to say that again, whether you are young and or you're just at 18 or under, reach out to Kids Are Heroes. You've heard the great work that's going on, and people are always looking for something to be a part of. And this is something for you to be a part of that can make a difference. MaryMargaret, you've already left your legacy. I hope you realize that, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you have. There are those adults who are seeking ways in which to leave their legacies. And so we're going to ask that you partner up with Kids Are Heroes and find out how you can be a part of this great movement. And before we go to the commercial break, we're going to give you, MaryMargaret, you tell them, in addition to the website, how can they reach out to you?
Well, you can go on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/kidsarheroes. So you can go like us and look at our posts and like some other pictures. You can go to our Twitter. It's just twitter.com/ or @kidsarheroes/kidsarheroes. You can go look at that too, and you can read our tweets, and of course just go to the website and just read the stories and just read all these kids' stories and think of ways how you can reach out and make your own difference to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
So there's some things you can check out.
Right. So listen, you've heard how to reach out to Kids Are Heroes and MaryMargaret. Please do so. We're not quite done. We're going to go to commercial break. We're going to thank our sponsors, and we do thank Sip for Your Cause, our show sponsor, for their continuous contributions to make this possible, for allowing us to bring great content, things that are very meaningful and life-changing to the atmosphere of internet TV. And so we thank you. We ask that you would join us after this commercial break.
What happens when soldiers come home? Brene Foundation offers hero support to ensure that our heroes abroad can continue to be heroes at home. We link veterans with organizations who are dedicated to guiding the transition from military hero to civilian hero. If you want to find out how you can support our troops at home, please contact the Brene Foundation or visit brene.com. What happens when soldiers come home? Brene Foundation offers hero support to ensure that our heroes abroad can continue to be heroes at home. We link veterans with organizations who are dedicated to guiding the transition from military hero to civilian hero. If you want to find out how you can support our troops at home, please contact the Brene Foundation or visit brene.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Nonprofits. Again, we thank our sponsors for the outstanding work that they do to keep us on the air and to provide you great quality conversations such as this. Again, we're here to share best practices to help nonprofit organizations increase their awareness, their funding, their sustainability, and ultimately the impact. And so in this second half of our session, we have Dad. We have Dad Gabe, the father behind all of this. Again, remember, MaryMargaret shared with you that this started at the age of 9. And so we all know that a 9-year-old needs some very significant, effective guidance to help pull this thing off and to build a significant team and result in the things that you see now. Even a teenager now, 16, Dad's guidance is still needed, as parents know. So we're here with Gabe O'Neill. Gabe, welcome to Let's Talk Nonprofits.
Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you having us. This is great.
Thank you very much, and we're glad to have you. So, Dad, age 9, MaryMargaret comes and says, Dad, build me a website so I can help animals.
Right.
And then wisdom comes. Share that with us.
Well, and actually, selfishly, I thought, well, this will be a great way for me to be involved in an important way in my daughter's life. Because you talk about taking your kids to the movies or watching video games or watching stupid shows with them. But I thought you could be doing something important with them. So I thought selfishly, I said, okay, because in 20 years from now, when we're sitting around the Thanksgiving table, you can't say to me, you never did anything with it. So I figured, because I was the last of 7, and my dad never did anything with me. So that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, and I'm a technical guy, and I had just heard the term social entrepreneurship from Richard Branson, and I had I'd never heard that term before, and I had already had this energy that I wanted to expend. And MaryMargaret came to me asking me to build her the website. I said, this is perfect.
Wow.
I said, so let's just get right down to it. And we had our business meetings, and we we thought she drew the logo, which is still the logo that we use. And MaryMargaret said, well, there's got to be stuff on there for kids. So we had our little
Right.
design meetings and all this other stuff,
Right.
and we came up with it. So it was just first designed to be a father-daughter project, but then people saw they had a visceral reaction to what we were doing, because we were showcasing all these children who basically haven't learned that they can't do it yet, right? They haven't been taught that. They think that, hey, I can do this, and since they believe that, they do it.
Wow.
So, and all these other children are on there, and then people just started saying, whoa, what's going on here?
Wow.
And then we realized at that point we were on to something.
Guys, you've heard it here first. Let's Talk Nonprofits. Selfishness can lead to something very, very significantly unselfish. And so out of his desire to spend time, which is a nugget I would like for you to take, he said that he wanted to spend time with his daughter, but in a very meaningful way. And so it resulted in Kids Are Heroes. Now, we're not saying every opportunity that parents get that it might become some worldwide impactful thing, but you just don't know. Second nugget that he shared with us is, and he's absolutely right, and I'm one of those advocates that are out there proclaiming it, that kids don't know that they can't, and therefore they do. So please, upon your children, do not set the limitations. Don't allow any limitation that have been set on you to be passed on to them. Don't brainwash them with some garbage to keep them from believing that they can go to the moon. They can go to outer space, even in their dreams. In other words, just as Gabe has done, he didn't cut off the opportunity and the avenue of where this was going. So the second nugget we would like you to get from Dad is, don't limit your child and don't allow them to be bombarded with the negative talk that they can't do. So you've heard more. Please review this show so that you can hear the other things that he said. And he's not done because we have some more things to ask him. Dad, from the standpoint and advice of parents, and I know I've taken those two and I've shared that with them, but anything else that you would give advice to a parent that has a child that comes, and says, I want to do something?
Well, another key that we've learned is we don't tell the kids what to do. I tried to do that with MaryMargaret at one point. When these other kids were drilling water wells, I said, MaryMargaret, this would be perfect. I want you to drill a water well in Africa. It doesn't cost that money. We can raise the money. And she goes, no, Dad, that's not a good idea. Wow. She was like 10 years old. Yeah. And she wanted to give them all umbrellas because she wanted them to, because it's hot there, right? Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. And it's raining there too. So they have umbrellas they can use all around. So it was that very second that I kind of smiled and I learned. I said, well, that's not her passion. Yeah. So let her find her own passion. And when we do that with the children, because the kids want to be boss. Yeah. They don't get to be boss. Yeah. When they get to be boss, they do much more and they stick with their projects much longer. So that was the thing and that's one of our strengths is we don't tell children which project to work on. We help them we help them find their passion and then we promote that. We kind of nurture that. Yeah. So that's the other great nugget, as you say.
MaryMargaret, and this just came to me. What do you think of your dad? I mean, really, truly, 9 years old, you come here now 7 years later. I mean, what do you think about him in this regard? Okay.
Well, I mean, he's really, really supportive. I mean, if you see, every day and night he's working on this organization, helping it grow further than it already has been. He's a nonstop worker and supporter for Kids Heroes. He's definitely the biggest fan. Wow. He just, every single day, you just see him in his office, and he has news about the organization. He's running the Twitter account, which now has over 100,000 followers because of him. And he's just the biggest supporter and the biggest worker, and yeah. And he's awesome.
and I say that because I can only imagine. We have a son, and we appreciate the things that he said about us as parents, but to be able to work with your child on something of this level of significance, so I was just curious what was in there about. So guys, listen, parents, listen. If you want to do something with your children other than going to the movies, sitting around looking at some crazy television shows, video game, guys, literally begin to think outside the box and begin to think about some changing, impactful experiences with your child. And if you don't have any ideas, guys, reach out to Kids Are Heroes. Reach out to them. I promise you. How many kids are on your website?
We have over 400 heroes on our website.
So over 400 heroes are on the website. We're sure you can get some idea. In fact, as you heard Gabe was saying, he was just asking her, well, let's duplicate the drilling wells, So duplicate something if you don't have, and something else will come out there, we're sure. Or as, about to call you Catherine O'Neill, but as MaryMargaret said, at that age of 10, no, Dad, we're not going to do that. We're going to do umbrellas. Your children may come up with something that expands you beyond that first level of experience. So, again, guys, I'm really honored to have both of you here. Our meeting in December, truly, right now, was a very good gift. So thank you. But we're not done. MaryMargaret, you have not been resting on your laurels, and actually some upcoming events are taking place. Coming up. What's happening?
So next month we're having an event called the Young Leader Summit, and we're partnering up with Kids Business Expo to have our Kids Are Heroes Day 2.0. Basically, we're inviting all the heroes on the website to come out and share what they do. And we currently have over 20 heroes signed up to come to this event, and we have a keynote speaker, and it's just a great event where if you want to see the heroes in person and talk to them one-on-one, this is where you come. come to this event to talk to me, my dad, and all the other heroes that are there that are making their own difference. They're making their own different projects. That's definitely the place to go if you want to get your kids inspired, or if the kids want to come and get inspired themselves.
Yes. Let me tell you guys, this is an annual event that Kids Are Hero puts on, and I'm going to challenge you with this. Come on out, and we're not going to give you the date. Just go to the website and look and see when it's taking place, where it's taking place. And what I want to encourage you, take advantage of this opportunity to meet Mary Margaret, and even though she and her dad say it's not about them, and that's what makes what I'm about to say even more important, find them at the expo. Come out and meet them. Get your paper, your pen. Get her autograph now. Get her autograph now, because I promise you she is going to become a full-fledged adult, and she is going to be on the national and world scene, and you have some documentation that you had the opportunity to meet her when she was still in high school, a junior at Creekview. And so we thank you for joining us. Any last words, either one?
Just make sure to check out the website and just get inspired and make your own difference. There's plenty of things you can work on, trust me.
Yeah.
Just find your own passion, whether it's animals, people, and the environment. Just try to get inspired and make your own project and get out there.
And the other thing I'd add to that, it doesn't have to be the big nonprofit. It can start as a, and none of them, not one of us, we didn't do it. We didn't say, oh, we're going to build this big nonprofit. We said, well, we're going to solve this little problem. We're going to plant this little seed, and it might be just collecting money for malaria nets for your birthday. And even if you do it once, twice, and you stop doing, that's fine. We paint all the stories with the same brush, so don't be intimidated by some of the things that other kids are doing, because anything that the children do are going to be, anything that the kids do are going to be pretty effective.
Exactly. And so we would definitely like to encourage you guys, if nothing else, there are kids who are watching this. Guys, you're always on your computer, you're tweeting, you're doing all those things. Tweet Mary Margaret. Really and truly. You know, engage in meaningful conversation. Find out how you can expand yourselves, your community, your friends. That you guys can, as Gabe indicated, can do various projects. And like I say, you don't have to have some big idea of impacting the world, but just do something small. But again, get their Twitter information. Would you share all of that again, how they can reach you?
Well, you can, here, you can go to Twitter.
It's at Kids Are Heroes on Twitter. Facebook.com/KidsAreHeroes. And it's KIDSAREHEROES. Many people leave out that
two E's in heroes.
Right.
Yeah.
And kidsareheroes.org.
There's emails on there too. You can email me if you
there's all kinds of ways to come. You'll find us. If you want to find us, you'll find us.
Right. And what I'm encouraging you to do, and I'm challenging everyone that watches this, again, subscribe to our channel so that you continue to get great information content that you're receiving at youtube.com/BizLinksTV and www.bizlinks.tv, the website. Like our page. Leave a comment, and we'll be sure to get the information to them. But the site will also be on. This will be on their page as well.
Yes.
For them to be able to access, so you can reach them directly, guys. Again, I'm just going to leave you with this. You're already tweeting out there. You're already Facebooking out there. You're already doing all the other 6-second Vine things.
Instagram.
Yeah, you're already doing it. Just apply it to something that's really making a difference, guys, and you'll be surprised. So Mary Margaret, Kids Are Heroes team, they're out there waiting to meet up with you, to share with you, so we encourage you to do so. So in closing, we would like to thank you for spending this time with us so that you've had an opportunity to hear some great best practices that have been implemented by Kids Are Heroes that has sustained them over the past 7 years and continue to help them grow. And we look forward to you taking advantage of their resources, their knowledge, their experience to start your various projects and become a hero as well. So thank you for joining us, and as we always say, this sip's for you.